All right, so this is my second video that I'm going to make for you. I think it's going to cover mostly basics of graphing, maybe some linear equations. To be honest with you, I'm just kind of making this up as I go. So don't be offended if I have to stop and think, or if I make a mistake. It's going to happen. Again, those of you who've never had me before realize pretty quickly I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not perfect, so we have that in common. Now, I know that last year, whether you were in Miss Herpin's class or Coach Young's class, you didn't really use the laptops at all. You'll find that I like to use them for note-taking, especially for graphing. If you look here, we've got this great little graphing background to put on there. I'll show you how to do that if you don't already know. And the other reason I like this is if you look in this little insert shape up here where my cursor is at, you can see this two-dimension, an XY chart, and you can throw in, well, not going to be the easiest to see, but that's okay. Here we go. You can throw in this right here, a little XY graph, okay? Make it a little easier to see next time. So, now I'm going to go over the basics, and I know that 99% of you know this, but it amazes me every year how many people, when I say, okay, where's the x-axis, they don't know, all right? So if you already know this, bear with me. If you don't, pay attention, all right? Use some color here. This is the x-axis. It goes left and right. This is your y-axis. It goes up and down, okay? You have positive, positive, negative, negative numbers, okay? So you have 1, 2, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1, negative 2, all right, and so on and so on. So I'm sure most of you know this, okay? But again, there's always someone who doesn't, and it's embarrassing to ask, so I do this here so you don't have to ask me, okay? So let me get rid of these numbers. Just so they can be out of the way. Sorry, you have to bear with the lag, apparently with the little screen website I'm using, and there goes the whole thing. That's okay. Again, it has issues sometimes, so let me just put another graph back in here. This one probably be easier to see. Yeah, there we go. Much easier to see. Okay. And again, I'll go over how to do all this on day 1 or day 2 of the school year. All right, so whether you see this before or after, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, let me go over again more basics. For example, when I give you a point to graph, it is always in this form, x comma y. It's in alphabetical order, okay? People get this backwards all the time. Most time it's because you're rushing and you're not paying attention, all right? So if I give you the point, well, if the pen would cooperate here. Need to cooperate. Okay, here we go. 2, 4, for example, okay? Now, I don't care if you go up, down, or left and right first. I always go side to side, then up and down, okay? That's just the way I was taught a long, long time ago. So again, this is x, this is y, so I'm going to go over 1, 2, okay, to put me right here. Then I'm going to up 1, 2, 3, 4, which gives me a point right here, okay? So again, I went over 2, up 4, okay? Very easy stuff, but I find that if I do this now, it'll make the rest of the year easier. So let's say I did the point -3, -4, okay? Same idea. I'm going to go, but because it's negative, all right, because it's negative, I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go again, because it's negative, down 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So down 1, 2, 3, oh wait, miscounted almost. There we go, 4. All right. So we have 2 points. Now, since we're on the subject here, since I have 2 points, most of us know that whenever you have 2 points, you can always connect them and draw a line. Okay? That's how many points you need for a line. All right, very simple idea, but don't forget it. Okay? So there's your basics of graphing and how to plot points. Please don't forget that. And if you get confused on anything, come ask me before or after school sometime. Okay, come find me for help, please. All right, now we're going to cover one more thing about graphing. Okay, so let me put actually let me write an equation here. This is an equation every one of you needs to know. Y equals mx plus b. This is the slope intercept. Okay, or y-intercept, whatever you want to call it. It's got 2 names. Probably has more names, but those are the 2 I'm going to call it interchangeably throughout the year. All right, now this is easy. We'll kind of diagram this, kind of like you do in English. All right, m here is going to be your slope. Okay, and B is going to represent your y-intercept. All right? Very important stuff. Now, let's camp out on slope here for a second, all right? Slope represents your rise over your run, okay? Rise over run, which is the same as saying your y over your x, okay? So, slope is rise over run, y over x. Now, y-intercept is going to be whatever point the line crosses the y-axis at. It's always going to be this point, 0b, okay? 0 something, because you're not going to go left and right, you're only going to go up or down so many, every single time, okay? Now, let me show you how you can take an equation like this and graph it pretty easily. So let me just make an equation up, y equals, let's do a real simple one, x plus 2. Now, here's something people always do in class and the test every time, because they'll come up and they'll freak out. Mr. Monroe, there's nothing in front of the x. What am I supposed to do? Okay, well, you should always know that when there's nothing in front of x, there's an understood positive 1. Okay, just want to cover that here now so you don't forget. So, what we have here is a slope of m, okay, and we have a y-intercept of 2. Now, I told you the point, again, y-intercept up here, is always 0b. So the point 0, 2, okay? And I told you that rise over run, that slope is rise over run. And since our number here is just 1, we're going to have a slope of 1 over, and now something you should always know is that every whole number is always over 1, okay, every time. Every single time, it's always something over 1. Okay, so now that I have a y-intercept and a slope, watch. Graphing is real simple. Okay, I'm going to put a graph in here first. Sorry for the lag. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to plot what I've got here. I'll keep it color-coded for you. So the first thing I'm going to plot is my y-intercept right here. Well, that was different. Sorry, not sure how I did that, but that's okay. Y-intercept. So I'm going to go over nowhere because my x is 0. My y says 2, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, and put a point here. Okay? Simple. Now watch how we use the slope. Again, this is rise over run. So it tells us, for my slope, I'm going to rise 1 and I'm going to run 1. Rise 1, run 1. Rise 1, run 1. Okay? Now here's the nice thing about this. Fractions work the same if you switch the sign. So in other words, 1 over 1 is the same as negative 1 over negative 1. Because you should know that two negatives always give you a positive, right? When you multiply negative times a negative, you get a positive. Divide a negative times a negative, you get a positive. Okay, more basic rules. So I can just do this. I can do the opposite. I can go down 1 and to the left 1. Okay, down 1 to the left 1. And here's what I've done. I mean, you only need 2 points, but I made multiple points. I'm going to take my little line and draw it right through there, and there you go. Okay? This line that we just drew, or that I just drew, is the equation, right? This right here. Y equals x plus 2. Very simple, very easy. Not too difficult, okay? So, now I do want to point one thing out, because every year people have problems with this. Here's something you should know about slope, okay? Whenever you have a positive number over a positive number, that means you're going to go, oh, no, that's wrong, sorry. You're going to go up, and you're going to go right. There's a T at the end of right, there we go. Okay? Whenever you have a negative, let me change colors here, over a negative, you're going to go down and left. Okay? So you can use the signs as directions, where positive is always up and right, and negative is always down and left. Okay? So, now let's do one more of these, and then that'll be it for this. Okay? So let's say I give you this equation. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Okay? So, we'll diagram this again. Let's do the easy first, the y-intercept. It's always this last number, always the last number, okay, plus or minus whatever it is. And it's always the point 0, whatever that number is. So in this case, 0, 1. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the graph now. just so we can get started with this. So I'll put a graph in here. And that should do. Yeah. All right. So we have our y-intercept now at 0, 1. So I'm going to plot that. I'm going to go nowhere left and right, and I'm going to go up 1. Put a point. All right. Now let's do the slope. In this case, our slope is equal to negative 2/3. Now how did I know that? Because where is it? It's right next to the x. It's where slope always is. Okay. Now here's something. I'm going to write it out this time. Okay. Notice the 2 has a negative in front of it. Okay. So because it has a negative in front of it, I know that that means I'm going to go down. And because the 3 is positive, I'm going to go to the right. Okay? And sorry, my eraser doesn't work too well with this program. That's okay though. All right. So I'm going to go down 2 and right 3. So I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 1, 2, 3. And you can do it again. Down 2 over 1, 2, 3. Okay, over and over. Now I told you earlier, slopes you can switch the signs. Okay, you can change them and that's fine. So in other words, negative 2/3 is the same as writing positive 2 over negative 3. They're both negative fractions. It doesn't matter where you put the negative in the fraction, okay? But this one is different because if you look here, this one says we're going to go up and we're going to go left. Again, I'm just using the signs. Positive 2 means up, negative 3 means left. All right, because again, it's rise over run. So in this case, I'm going to go up 2 over 3. Up 1, 2 over 3. Okay? So there you go. Now again, let me go ahead and connect the dots here so I can make this a little easier to see. Yeah, I know. All right, sorry. Didn't click that button. All right. And I'm going to take this and hopefully, there we go. See if I extend it out a little. And there we go. There's our line. This red line represents the equation y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Okay? So here's a basic overview of how to go from y-intercept to putting it on the graph. Okay? I also covered the basics of slope, which is something you're going to use a lot this year. So just get ready. Okay? As a matter of fact, the second chapter we do is all graphing. And believe it or not, I covered the first 2 or 3 sections in this 12.5-minute video, however long it's been. Yeah, 12.5. Okay. So there you go. Covered slope. We covered how to plot basic things. We covered the basics of a graph. I'll go into a little more detail when I actually teach you this lesson. But yeah, so I think that about covers everything for this video. Hope it was useful. I'm going to continue to do more. So, just be looking out. I'll have them on Moodle. Again, let me know if these are working for you. If they're not, then we'll figure something else out. Okay. All right. Thanks.